Hello, everyone. This is Eloy Casagrande,
Yeah,
and
that's me.
I don't think he needs any more introduction than that.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Yes, I think we all know who you are, and we really appreciate you. And I
Oh,
think
thank you.
your performance at the European Drum Show was amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
I also had the
Appreciate that.
pleasure to see you at the UK Drum Show, and it was just mind blowing.
Oh, thank you.
And
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to ask you, how was your experience here at the Europe Drum Show?
It was really good. I had so much fun meeting a lot of people, a lot of drummers. Also, I was able to watch a few drummers playing, and that's also very inspiring,
Yes.
to be able to get connection with the drumming community. That's very important for our instrument, for our reality that we live in.
Yes.
And finally to meet some people that we have been following for so many years. We see them like very closely. We can see them playing
Yeah.
and all the fans, that kind of stuff. It's really good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome to just feed off the energy of
Yes, yes.
So your playing combines precision and power. How have you developed that over time?
Okay, that was something that I always played like that. Since I was 12, 13 years old, when I discovered metal music, that's the way I wanted to play, with power, with energy, and that makes part of my personality as well. In the past, I tried to play soft stuff, some light music, but I was never able to keep the volume down. Like for some reason, I was just playing too loud in some bands that I was playing when I was a teenager. So that makes part of my nature.
Yes.
So every time that I go to my studio and when I'm practicing, when I'm learning something, that's always the way I play the drums.
Yep.
So that's something that's natural for me. I don't have to do any extra effort to play like that live.
So you're being completely yourself with what comes out naturally when you play.
Yes,
You don't try to alter that.
No, because some people they might think that I'm just trying to play that hard or with a lot of power just to impress them, just to impress the audience. But actually, no, that's the way I listen to the drums. That's the way I want to listen for my drums, the sound that I got from my drums.
That's what you're looking for.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking
Amazing.
for.
Cool. And how does your practice routine look like?
I try my best to go almost every day to the studio, to my studio at home. When I live in São Paulo, in Brazil. So if I'm off, I'm not playing with the band. I'm not touring. I'm not doing a recording session. I am at home, so I go to my studio every day. That's what I like to do. I like to be in touch with the drums contact almost every day.
Yeah. Do you have this? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, yeah. But that's something that it's really important for me because what else I'm going to do during the day if not practicing the drums?
Yeah.
I can be like in the beach, I can relax, I can do something else, but I really like to be in the studio and developing new skills, trying to play something different.
Yeah.
That's always what I'm looking for.
Yeah, but when you mentioned something different, I remember now I was watching your take on Wolfpack, the Drumeo challenge, right?
Yes.
That's what you did?
Yes.
And I remember watching that and thinking how good of a pocket you have and how well the song sounded. Even it sounded different, definitely, but I loved your take on it.
Oh, thank you. Personally, I didn't like that
Yeah.
my performance. No, I didn't like that one because I never listened to Wolfpack before. So when I had to play that, I was like, what the fuck is this? But I made it through.
Yeah.
I survived it. So that's the important thing. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. There's also, leading to that, there's a very great sense of groove, a deep groove in your playing. And do you think that that is tied to your Brazilian roots in the music?
Yes, I think so. That's a very good question because my first 4 or 5 years when I was learning the drums, I was only playing Brazilian music, Brazilian rhythms.
Okay.
So that makes part of my personality, my DNA. That's something that I cannot just get rid of. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, now I'm gonna play metal, so I'm gonna forget all my Brazilian roots.
Yeah.
No, I'm only one person, only one drummer. So everything's connected.
Yes.
And I think so because the Brazilian music, we really try to make people dance. That's the goal of mostly of all the Brazilian rhythms. People are dancing. They like to dance. They like to go to parties, and that's also my goal when I'm playing music in a metal band. The people want to jump. They want to bang their heads. They want to go crazy. So that's one of my goals: make people dance.
Yes.
So that's why I try my best to have reasonable groove, a decent groove.
Yes.
Yeah. A,
Amazing.
a very honest groove.
Yeah,
Very honest, I would say that.
I love that.
I have a very honest groove.
Yeah.
I'm not like the pocket guy,
Yeah.
but I can groove a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing
Yes.
your groove.
Yes, my
The
groove.
Eloy groove.
Yes.
Amazing. So, with the power of the music that you are playing, do you prepare in a certain way? Do you of the drums as well? Like, what does your day look like? Do you train? What do you do?
Yes, I try to go to the gym every day as well. I work out with weights. So when I was a teenager and I started playing metal, I started having some injuries on my wrists, tendons. So that's why I started going to the gym. So I do my best to work out every day with weights, so I don't have any pain or any injury when I play the drums, especially playing metal music. That's
Yes.
very demanding for the body. But what really helps me is to play the drums every day. And also when I practice at home, I'm always playing with the same energy. I don't like to hold back because that's the way I listen to my drums. So I
Yeah.
gotta play that way.
Yeah. And with that, like warming up before a show, do you do also physical workout or do you only play?
I only play. I
Okay.
only warm up on a practice kit like this one. That's what I like to do. And depends like how long is the tour. I like also to go to the gym every day or every 2 days, because that's also good to keep the muscles. I don't lose a lot of lean muscles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm playing every day and I don't go to the gym, after 1 month I'm gonna lose muscles, the
Yeah.
lean mass. So I have to try to go to the gym often to keep the power, to keep the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the physical aspect, right? But how do you answer mentally prepared for big mountains to climb, let's say? So when someone contacts you for a big project that you've never done before, how do you approach that mentally?
No, that's a very complicated question. That's very hard to explain. But the first thought that comes to my mind is don't fuck it up. Yes, especially when I have an important show to do, an important gig, I'm always like, don't fuck it up. And
That's how
also,
you talk to yourself?
yes,
Yeah,
don't fuck
okay.
it up. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
best advice that I can give to myself.
Yeah.
Yes. No, actually, like when I was invited to do the audition for Slipknot, I didn't know how the guys wanted the drums to sound like, what they were looking for. If they wanted just a replacement for Joey, for Jay, or if they wanted a different personality on the drums. So that was my biggest concern at the beginning, how I'm gonna approach the songs. Can I put myself into the music, or I have to respect all the original recordings, the original drummers. So when I went to the audition, I knew all the songs, but I knew also things that I could change by myself. But at the beginning, I was trying just to be the most respectful that I could be for the original arrangements. Don't change the music, don't change the songs. And then from time, like after a few months, I was able to change a few things. The band liked that. They also wanted to have a different personality on the drums. They wanted to have myself, Eloy, on the drums and not any previous member playing the drums. So it depends a lot on the gig that you're gonna get. But the best thing that you can do is to talk to people, talk to
Yeah.
other musicians. Don't try to guess what they want from you, what they expect from you. So if you get a new gig, just go there and talk to the other musicians, what they are looking for, what they expect, and then you can prepare yourself. And in my case, I didn't have the chance to talk to Slipknot before I went for the audition. I just met the guys on the first day of the audition. So I had to be prepared for everything. But I had that in my mentality. If you don't know how it's going to be, just be prepared the best you can in different perspectives.
Yeah. And for example, when you're on the other side, if you're supposed to prepare for someone when there's no place to be yourself, but you really are supposed to replicate something, how do you approach that? Do you feel comfortable doing that?
Oh yes, I did that a few times in my life. And some of the arrangements that I had to play, either with Slipknot or with Sepultura, I had to respect the original arrangement. Some of the stuff is very classic. You're not supposed to change that.
Yes.
You know, there are like just a few things, small details that I can change, some drum fills, but the structure of the song, the soul, you know, the meaning, you cannot change that.
Yes.
But also, if I had to play exactly the same thing, I wanna be able to do that. I was able to do that, but I feel a lot more comfortable if I have my freedom of speech, my freedom of musicality. If I can be myself at least a little bit,
Yes.
you know, and that's something that I have always been concerned in my life. To be in a band, to be in a place that I can express myself. That I'm not gonna be just a hired gun, a hired musician, playing whatever they want me to play. And I was lucky enough to play in bands that the guys, the other musicians, they wanted me to be myself. They wanted me to have my perspective regarding music.
Yes.
So I'm very lucky regarding that. But in the past, yes, when I was like a teenager and I was playing professionally, doing some pop gigs, country gigs in Brazil, a lot of recording sessions, I was just doing what the producer wanted me to do or the band wanted me to do. I was having fun either way because I was playing the drums by the end of the day, you know. But it's different when you can just sit and the people want to listen to you. I'm very grateful for that.
You also performed your own music, right?
Yes.
And that was quite a bit different, I would say. It was more experimental in the playing, and I really loved it. Would you want to talk more about that and how was that made and what's your process?
Oh, yeah, sure. I have a project that it's called Casagrande and Honeys. It's just me and another guitar player. He's also from Brazil. And we did a few songs together a few years ago. We have 2 albums that came out. Actually, one is an EP, the other one's the full record. And it's just like some experimental instrumental music, you know, with like all the creative things that we were practicing at the moment that the songs came to life. But I'm just trying to play different stuff that I cannot play in metal bands, you know, that I cannot play Sepultura or that I cannot play in Slipknot, you know, like going to a different direction, to different place. I can mix a lot of Brazilian stuff. I can mix some different time signatures, quintuplets, 7-tuplets, all those kind of things that I use it to stud, but I cannot really use that in metal bands or pop recordings or,
Yeah.
you know, like the business, you know, type of business. So that's the perfect material to play in this kind of situation. You know, the people want to hear some complicated stuff. So
Yeah.
yes, I have some like complicated stuff to show to you all.
Yeah.
But that's also some music that I like to play. And when we were doing the material, we didn't want to do just a complicated music. We wanted to have everything to have melodies. So if you listen to the record, all the songs, they have a melody. They have like a regular structure. There's an intro, a verse 1, verse 2, solo, you know, verse, chorus, you know, that kind of like a regular structure of a pop song. So that was what we were looking for when we did this music.
And inside you do the mean stuff.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But if you listen to the songs, they all have a very normal structure,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, because you don't like songs that they just go, they don't repeat. I like chorus, I like verse, I like that, to think as a structure.
Yeah. And what was the process of making those songs? Was it improvisation? Did the guitar player throw things at you and you improvised? How
Yes, something like that. But we were doing far from each other.
Okay.
He lives in a different city, lives actually in a different state of Brazil, very far from São Paulo. I live in São Paulo. So we were doing everything by the internet, you know, exchanging ideas. Sometimes he sent me a few riffs and I recorded drums, sent him back, and he was sending me back with some other guitar parts. and we were building all the songs together like that, you know. Just like
Beautiful.
putting parts together.
Yeah.
You know, I do a little bit here, do a little bit there, send me back, I do a little more, send you again, you do a little bit more. And
Yeah.
and like that we are building all the songs.
Yeah. Okay, so because you played your music and also metal songs on the drum show, how do you come from one to the other? How do you do the transition? Do you change something in your playing? How does it feel for you?
No, that's a very good question. Yes, like yesterday, I started playing a metal song, and then the second song that I played is one of my project. So I have to change a little bit the mindset of trying to, first of all, bring the dynamic a little bit down. I cannot play as loud as I play the metal music. So that was the first mentality, and I think that was it.
Yeah, simple.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
but I think I have more space to improvise as
Yeah.
well. You know, sometimes I don't know what I'm gonna play, the drum fills.
Okay.
Every time I come up with a different drum fill. And sometimes in metal, especially with famous songs, if you change some of the parts, the fans, they're gonna complain or they're not gonna like it. Or also myself, when I saw some drummers playing live, some very famous songs, you wait for them for playing like the songs were recorded, you know, the original arrangements. If the drummer changes, you're gonna like, I wanted really so bad to listen to that drum fill and he didn't play.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I try to keep the metal songs that the fans they like that. So I try to keep them as original as possible.
Cool. And how different does it feel to play a drum show and like a real concert?
The drum show is more like a big fuck off. Yeah, I can just go and like fuck off. You know?
Yeah.
I can just go and play
Do
whatever I want to
whatever
play.
you want, yeah.
Yes.
So you feel free, like
Something
a
like no, but I have more freedom to play.
Yeah.
It's just myself on stage.
yeah,
And when you're playing music together, you also have to play music together. You are playing for each other. You know, we have to respect the other instrument. You have to play music. You are like playing a band. You have to listen to the other musicians, what they're playing, and react to them at the same time, in real time. But when you're playing alone with backing tracks, I feel like that's just me on stage. That's
Yeah.
just me and my drums, so I can play whatever I want to play. And so that's my approach. I
Yeah.
feel like I have more freedom of going crazy. You know, I have more freedom just to whatever. I'm gonna play a drum fill here that I will never play in real life,
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
live show with the band. You know?
and your preparation changes when you prepare for a concert versus a drum show?
No, it's like maybe the same kind of preparation. I just like to play the songs every day, just so they can feel natural for me. I can get like very close to the songs, and if I feel if I feel like I'm playing the songs with certain freedom, then when I'm playing them live, I also have that freedom to improvise more. You know,
Yes.
if I'm thinking too much about the songs, I feel like I lose the power of improvising. So if I'm very close to the songs that I know, if I know very well the songs that I'm going to play, I have more space, more freedom to improvise.
And how would you say, in percentage, how improvised was your show?
Oh, the solos that I did, they were quite improvised. I would say the solos, they were all improvisation. I did 2 small drum solos, so that was improvisation. The songs from my project, they are like maybe 70, 80% of original, and I try to improvise 20%, 30%. And the metal songs, Slipknot music that I played, it's like 90%, 90%, 95% the
Yeah.
original and 5% of improvisation.
And when you play a drum solo, what is your thought process?
Don't fuck it up.
Okay.
Again,
Okay.
yes.
Simple as that.
It's as simple as that. Yes.
Okay. Amazing.
No, actually, no. Actually, actually, depends a lot. Like the first drum solo that I played yesterday, It was a solo all in 4/4, but in quintuplets. So the beginning, I have to show to the audience my intention of playing quintuplets. I cannot start playing something very difficult, and then people are gonna be like, "What the fuck is this guy playing?" So I have to play like a very simple thing, so that people can understand the beat, can understand the tempo, and then I can build from that, you know. And the same when I played more the Brazilian solo. At the beginning, I was trying just to show the groove, the original groove, being more chill, bring the dynamics down, and then from there I started building the solo. But most of the time I prefer to start the solo in a high condition, high pressure. You can like fluctuate in between, and I like to finish the, the high again, higher again.
Yeah. Now that you show me visually, do you have a way that you visually think about songs or like the time passing? You know, like,
No, I don't know.
or do you read it like
no,
notes?
no. I never think about notes when I'm
Okay.
playing. Just maybe when I'm learning the songs, then I have to think about the note subdivisions. That helps a lot. But when I'm playing live, I'm never thinking about subdivisions or notes, anything like that. But in a drum solo, that's helpful to see like that, see like a mountain that you are walking, because it's very good to have the contrasts. You know, high dynamics, like super loud dynamics and low dynamics. I know that I have a problem playing low dynamics. It's very tough for me, very difficult for me. But I try my best to have that difference, that contrast between dynamics.
Have you ever hit a point where your body limits your playing?
Oh yes, every day.
Yeah?
Oh yes, every day, definitely.
And how do you fight that?
No, I say fuck it up. Yes. I say
Quotes.
yes, quotes. Um, yeah, I think it's really important for every day to you reach your limit in what you want to do. For me, it's really boring to play the same thing every day. If I go to my studio and I gotta play the same thing every day, it's so boring, so annoying. So what I'm trying to do when I practice my daily routine, I try to play different stuff, different things. So that also makes me do stuff that my body cannot play yet. I'm not able to play yet. So I have to make my body, adapt my body to play what I want to play. But yeah, that happens every day.
Yeah.
Maybe I have like an idea. Oh, if I'm doing a drum fill, I'm here the last four tom, but I want to hit that cymbal on my left side. How I'm gonna do it? You know. So yes, but that's something that you have to prepare your body for
Yeah.
that. But yes, I have a lot of limitations. I like to play double strokes on the double pedal. But I cannot play like that. That's one of my limitations.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to play upside down as well, but I cannot play like that yet.
Like completely upside down?
Yeah, completely upside down, but that's another
Yeah.
limitation.
Maybe on the moon
Yeah, yeah.
or something. But let's say, what is something that you want to achieve? Like an exercise that you've been working on or that you have your mind set on when you go to the rehearsal space next day? Like, what would you do?
Okay, the first thing, I start very slow. Yes, I always I use it to tell that to my students. If you want to learn something, if you want to develop something, you have to start very slow. That's the first thing I do, and I do that with myself as well. Sometimes I can get myself just trying to rush things, you know, like, oh, I'm tired of playing this exercise so slow. So I try to rush things, and I know it's not gonna work. So I have to go back a little bit and start all over again. So until nowadays, it's the same process. I have to start something very slow, and every day I try to rush a little bit, to speed it up a little bit, and so that's the process. There is no secret.
Yeah. And if you would have an advice for your younger self, the small Eloy, what would you tell him?
Don't fuck it up, kid.
Yeah, do it.
Don't fuck it up, you piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. I would say, yeah, that's that. What I'm gonna say, what I would say to Eloy, the young Eloy, I would say to young Eloy. No, actually, I just said that today. We were talking about that today before, but I would never change anything that happened in my life. So everything that happened was for some reason or for some purpose, and also the mistakes, they were there to help me to do something else or to put me in a different situation. So I don't regret of anything in my career, my professional career. But I would say just like to the younger Eloy, because when I was young, I was super concerned about trusting myself, trusting my personality into the instrument. I was not very secure about myself, about my personality on the drums. If I could just be myself in the instrument. So I would go back and say, hey, just listen to yourself, play the drums the way you want to play, just respect your nature, and things they're gonna happen,
Yeah.
in a way or in another way. There's always space for all different musicians, and that's also a problem for the kids nowadays, for the teenagers, because they are growing. They were born in a different world, in a different situation with all the social media. They are nowadays they have to think about followers, they have to think about numbers, they have to think about making money, they have to think about like having sponsors very early. So that's not the thought. You have to focus on your drumming before, be yourself, have like a strong artistic value. You need to have something to say. If you don't have anything to say, it's time for you to live a little bit more. Walk around the corner, go to a different country, read some books. So then you're gonna have something to say. So when you have artistic value, then you're gonna be able to play the instrument the way you see the world, the way you believe it works, the way you see yourself. And then you can start thinking about numbers and followers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And what is something about your playing that people think it's the natural way, but it took you a long time to get to?
The double bass
Uh-huh.
technique, double bass technique. Yes,
Okay.
to play fast, double bass. I remember when I was a teenager, I was thinking a lot about. I really wanted to play fast the double bass, and that was kind of easy for me. And I just practiced for 1 year, so I got all the speed that I needed. But then through the years, I lost my attention to the double bass to play that fast enough. When I was playing with Sepultura, that was more about the hands, not so much about the feet. So when I joined Slipknot, I look at my feet and they were like all rusty. So it took me a few months, or I'm gonna say like 1 year and a half, almost 2 years now. And now after 2 years I joined the band, I'm feeling that my legs, they're back. I'm feeling they are fast enough to play all the songs live.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to develop the technique.
Yeah.
So that's something that now I understand that I have always to pay attention to keep my technique of my feet on shape.
Yeah. Awesome. And I don't want to take too much of your time, so we're gonna do one last question.
Oh yeah, sure.
What is a bad habit that actually became a part of your life?
A bad habit
Yeah.
became part of my life. Maybe the bad habit, I would say the ghost notes.
All right.
Yeah, they are good. But if you cannot play without them, that's also a problem. You know?
Cool.
So I'm always, I play, it doesn't matter what kind of rhythm, what kind of style I'm gonna play, I'm always playing the ghost notes. Even if I try my best to don't play them, they come out naturally. So that's a bad habit, but it's good, but it's not so good. Because that makes part of myself and I cannot get rid of them. Sometimes I'm playing a song and I notice my hand's very tired. It's like, why are my hands so fucking tired? And then later I'm gonna listen to it, and like a lot of ghost notes. It's like, that's the reason why,
Yeah.
So that's a bad habit.
So, and you record yourself a lot on your live shows, right?
Yes.
And do you do it mostly for yourself and then decide to post it online?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So
I
you
do.
watch yourself deliberately.
Oh, yes. And I do the same when I'm practicing at home in my
Amazing.
studio. I like to record myself with the audio, with a simple microphone setup, just to understand what I'm playing from outside of myself. You know, because sometimes when you are drumming yourself, you don't realize the way you're playing, the way the people are listening. So when you record yourself, then you understand the reality. You can see it better from outside.
Yeah.
And most of the time, you're gonna get in shock. You're gonna be in shock because like, oh shit.
Cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Eloy, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
It was a real pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. My pleasure. I hope you enjoy it, the festival
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah.
Nice.
And thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share all that you can do to interact with this video. We hope you liked it.
I like
And
it. Thank you.
yeah. And see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.